Hey guys, Chris here from Carolot Farm. Today's a big day. I'm going to be moving Shenanigans from his front winter turnout paddock to the back of the farm with his good friend Rocky. So I'll take you through those steps, show you how the day goes, and hopefully, fingers crossed, everyone is settled and quiet and content by the end of the day. I've been watching the two boys for a while, and although they've done well separated, I just know that they are going to be so happy to be back together and just be each other's playmates. They have such a good time palling around. Before I start working to bring Shenanigans across the farm, he's currently up front in the winter turnout, and Rocky and Sweetheart are here in the back by the brown barn. I want to make sure that everyone is settled. They've already had their breakfast. Rocky, I showed you, is in a feedlot. So he's kind of poised and ready for when we move Shenanigans. But the last thing I need to do now is give Sweetheart a really good grooming. I can see she's shedding a lot. And I want to give her her medicine, put fly masks on, and then I can start thinking about moving little Shenanigans. Again, the boys are going to have so much fun together. It's been hard being separated. They've done well, but it's now time to officially reunite these two buddies. Rocky originally had been Sweetheart's companion, but then when she was feeling so unwell, close to a month ago, I had to separate him out because he was acting a little studdish. And so he's been kind of flying solo for the last few weeks. He's been doing well, but he's definitely ready to have a buddy to pal around with. So my two guys here are all ready. I am not going to put Rocky's fly mask on him because if he and Shenanigans get to running and playing, I want them to have good visibility for this first day because I do anticipate them getting very excited. Shenanigans and Lady here have been together for the last 6 weeks or so as well, and they too have been great companions. Lady, though, seems to be very independent, and I think she will be just fine as Shenanigans departs, but we will keep a close eye on her today just to make sure. This all being said, Lady has actually become quite fond of the newest horse on the farm, Timber. And so although these two ladies are in separate fields, they will be side by side, and I'm sure they will continue to be good friends. Now it's time to officially walk Shenanigans from the front winter turnout to the back field. My husband is kindly leading him so I can film a little, and as you can see, Shenanigans is very happy to stop and nibble along the way. He was a very good boy. Once we got him into the lower field, we did take his shank off. We've left his halter on just for a little bit until he settles, but as you can see, it didn't take long. You ready, Rocky? Your friend's here. Come on, Shan. Come on this way, sweet boy. I know, you're gonna go see them in a minute. Come on. He's so happy eating. He really could care less right now. Whenever I am introducing horses for the first time, or in this case, reintroducing horses who've been separated for a bit, I want to do so very carefully and in sort of small methodical steps just to ensure that everyone is comfortable and in a good place before I go officially merging them. They really are very good friends. Our electric fence is not on, I should say that as well. The boys did so well sniffing through the fence that after a few minutes I went ahead and put them together in this lower field. Yeah, they'd rather eat than play, which is not a bad thing, but surprising. Whenever introducing horses such as this, it's always great to do so when there's plenty to eat, whether it be hay, spread out, or grass like this. It just helps to engage the horses. I don't want to just take it for granted that these two had spent a lot of time together and had been really good companions prior. But because of the separation, you just never know. And so I'd rather err on the side of caution. I'm going to keep these two separated, and Sweetheart, being the mare, is going to stay by herself. You know, Rocky was acting a little studdish when she was feeling her worst a few weeks ago, and so I separated them then. And it's been nice. I think she enjoys being by herself. She's a little herd bound. She can be a little attached, and she is usually the alpha. And so these have been her little boys. For a long time, the three of them were like a little band together. So I know she would love to be with them, but I am not going to reintroduce her to this group. I'm just going to keep the two boys together right now. That's the plan as it stands. Well, like I had originally predicted, they did get to running and playing. This is very typical for these two young boys. Shenanigans, I think, is about 2.5. Rocky, I don't think yet is 5 and looking at his teeth. And so they were just running and playing and just having a great time, just reestablishing themselves and reaffirming their friendship. Don't kick. No kicking, Rocks. I mean, these young boys do need a friend to pal around with. That's why I put them back together. So, running and playing is perfectly fine. We don't want anyone to get hurt, of course. I'd rather Rocky not be trying to kick. But again, they might just sort of be asserting themselves, figuring out who's the top dog, who's number 1, who's number 2 in this group. And so hopefully the kicking will not continue, because I'd really rather them not be kicking one another. Rearing, running, a little bit of nipping here and there. They've always done quite well with not injuring each other in the past. Now that she's quiet, the boys are quiet, I'm gonna step away. I'll come back in maybe an hour or so and see if I can't move them into the backfield and then eventually up into the ring. I'd love for Sweetheart to go into the back. That field has been working really well for her. So again, it's just kind of moving everyone in these little steps, and I'll keep you posted throughout the day. I do want to go check on Lady though, make sure she's good. I've not heard her, so I think she's perfectly content, but I should go lay eyes on her just to make sure. And at some point, once the boys are settled, I'll put the masks on. It's no big rush. I do want them to have good visibility though. Again, they're running and playing, and I just don't want them to inadvertently run into something because they couldn't see as well. They can see, I think, well, but not as well. So, again, better to be safe than sorry in all of these different circumstances. As I was preparing to walk away, it occurred to me, because I had not planned on the boys being in this lower field, I don't have water there. So I'm going to open the red gate. They'll have access to the water right here in the corner, and that way they'll have 2 fields that they can kind of mosey around in for a bit. And when I come back in an hour or so, I hopefully can then move them up into the front ring, but they're just so content right now. I might as well leave them and again, let them kind of move through these progressions on their own. I have nothing but time. There's no reason to go and catch them and move them and march them to a different field. It's just not necessary. Do you hear the mockingbird? Our resident mockingbird is back, and I think he's up on the roof. He's really silly. Another good reason to leave this gate open is not only do they have access to water like I told you, but it will then give them access to the run-in should they want to duck in out of the sun. I don't think that's going to be the case in the next hour, but let's say something happens and I have to leave the farm in a hurry. I know they have water, I know they have shelter, and I know they'll be perfectly fine. So Shenanigans came over to say hi to Sweetheart, who had been facing him, and then Rocky came over to play. But hi guys. If I can get in there to close that gate before they go back out there, I will. But I am glad that he's come over. He said hi to Sweetheart. No squeals. Still good buddies. Checking out the run-in. He's been back here before. All of my horses have spent time in these back paddocks before. So it's still a familiar field. He's just not been back here for a while. Silly boy. Silly and sillier. Like I said earlier, now that they're happy, they're now enclosed in a new paddock. We're a step closer to the ring. Sweetheart's quiet. I do want to go check on Lady. Those two silly boys. Silly boys. But again, it makes me happy because they need a playmate. And this is the perfect acceptable outlet. The girls didn't really like their antics, and so they definitely needed to be back together. I think it's safe to say that Lady is perfectly content out here. She does not seem to miss Shenanigans at all. She's not called once that I've heard. She's grazing. So those are all really good signs. I would have hated it for her if she became real anxious and was missing him. I didn't think she would because she has her good friend Timber in the neighboring field. So again, I'm pretty happy with the day's change at this point in time. I do still have another step or two though. I want to get the boys in the ring and Sweetheart settled back in her field. But again, I have all day to do that, so there's just no rush. It's always a good idea to retrace your steps like I'm doing. I had forgotten that I had closed this gate when I took Shenanigans out because I didn't want Lady to kind of like be rushing into the barnyard. She was actually laying down. She didn't even bother to get up. But because I closed the gate, it meant she didn't have access to her shade. And so now that I've opened the gate, I know she has access to shade. She has her water trough. She's happy grazing, as we saw. So I can definitely step away from this front area of the farm, knowing that these girls are perfectly content. All good things. As I keep watching the horses, I have seen Shenanigans come to this red gate several times. He does walk away, but because he's showing interest in coming into the barnyard where I am, I'm going to open this gate up now, let them come on into the barnyard, and then I'll also open the ring gate, and hopefully they'll just mosey right on through, and then they'll be where I ultimately want them to be for the day. The gate's now open. I'm going to open the ring, and they can come at will. There's really no set timeline on this. Sweetheart is fine where she is. They're running and playing. If they don't come on in here in the next 5 minutes though, I'll get her a bucket of water because I wouldn't want her to be without water. But so far things are going really smoothly. Hi guys. I know I'm gonna fill that for you in just a minute, Rocky. I'm gonna go get the hose. Now that I'm gonna have two of them spending more time together out here in the ring, I wanna have an extra tub. I had placed like an emergency bucket for Rocky in case he ever got thirsty while he was closed in here. But normally when the horses are in here, they have access to the barnyard because that's where their shade is, which gives them access to the water that's up here. But I always like to have water in these extra paddocks just in case they get closed in there. This little feeder was not here the last time Shenanigans was in this part of the farm, so that's new. But he's finding the water is here. And once I see them head into the ring to kind of stay, I'll go close that back gate. But they might still do a little running to and fro first. We'll have to just wait and see. More investigating to do. Can't do anything till you scratch your itch. So he's gonna go say hi to Sweetheart, kind of check in with her. And whether or not Rocky was running him away from her, which was a bit of a perhaps skittish tendency, it could just have been that he was playing and there was nothing more charged about that, but that was a little funny. I just have to keep an eye on Rocky. I'm not really sure what's going on, but he's been a little more his usual self as of late. But I think playing with Shenanigans will only be a good thing, as long as they're not too rough. Everyone loves to roll in this dusty spot. Definitely a preferred rolling patch. He didn't really have any dusty patches out in his front winter turnout. It was nice and grassy and they had some hay in their run-in, but not really a good dusting area. The dust is great. It helps to keep the flies off and other biting insects. So there are plenty of benefits to a good, thorough dusting like this. Oh, he's not done. He thought so. That last little bit may have been to get his belly even. Sometimes they'll scratch their belly on the ground. Well done, Shan. All right, so now it looks like I'll have my two boys in the ring. The perfect opportunity to close the gate. What a good job, boys. And now they can run and play in here while I put Sweetheart into the back. They are just so funny. They are continuing to want to run and play. It's just never ending. They're like two little Energizer bunnies here. They just keep going and going and going. And I do truly think that they're having a great time with each other. I don't know, it's almost as if they're brothers. They just want to tussle and play and roughhouse all the time. It's never ending with these two. They are just so silly to watch. Everybody worked up a good thirst, all that playing. I just put their masks on and they will probably tear them off. But I was going to show you, Shenanigans was kind of mouthing, like just kind of chewing, and that is kind of a sign of a baby showing some respect towards an older horse. But these masks will probably not last very long with these two silly boys. I've got you by the Velcro. We will see just how durable these masks are or are not. All right, guys, score 1 for Shenanigans. He's the winner for the day. Now I need to go rescue that poor fly mask. Although Rocky might just return the favor here. Oh, the joys of having young, playful horses. Let's try again and see if Rocky can keep his mask on. The score is now 2-1. Shenanigans. He has bested Rocky twice. Thank you so much for joining me today. It was a very successful move. Shenanigans and Rocky have been having a really good time. The latest game is remove the fly mask. Shenanigans is winning 2-1. I have just actually not even put Rocky's mask back on because it took Shenanigans less than 2 minutes to pull it off the second time. So we'll have to work on that. But they're doing well. Sweetheart is settled in the back. Lady's content up front, and Timber never skipped a beat. So all in all, a fantastic day. And these two little boys, I know are having a great time, which just makes me happy. Check back soon. We'll give you updates on not only these two, but everyone else on the farm. And we hope to see you in the future. Bye, guys.